That mug kind of match. That mug kind of match.
Chill, my boy. It was the vibe. So, alright. So, before we get started, we're just gonna drink some tea.
What kind of tea we got here, my boy?
So it's probiotic tea with fenugreek.
You know exactly what fenugreek, what kind of benefits fenugreek has?
From what I remember, it was like, basically like helps with like body odor and shit like that.
Oh, okay.
Crazy.
Mm.
Oh, it helps with body odor and also helps with your hair too. Like you want to think of your hair.
Okay.
But the method with that is that you're supposed to let it seep overnight in water, and then take the liquid.
Oh, rub it in your hair like a topical type of thing. Okay. That's fine.
But this way, it's just for consumption for your body odor.
Okay. Yeah, so we definitely want to consume that. Like teas like that, I try to, because I've been trying to like consume tea at night and in the morning. So I feel like this is that kind of tea you probably consume at night. Because in the morning you want more of a pick-me-up sort of tea.
I think the probiotic has some type of caffeine in it. Not really not serious as like your regular green tea or like your black tea and stuff like that. But yeah, still good. And the fun part about fenugreek is that it tastes like maple syrup.
See, that's why I wanted to hit this before I put the lemon in there. I want to see like how it tastes raw. It's a vibe. When you gonna stop putting sugar in your tea? You're like my father.
I kid, bro. Kid.
I get it though. I get it. Because it's hard. It's hard. Like tea without sugar is difficult. Like especially.
I did it for a little bit. Like, when we was doing the 5 a.m. shifts.
Oh yeah. Because you just gotta get low. But yeah, I don't even think I'm gonna use the lemon juice.
I'll clean the air real quick. Clean the energy real quick.
But yeah, like I was saying, I've been trying to drink tea twice. I said tea. hey, yo, and I guess fun fact, Twi is actually what would you call it? It's basically the language that Ghanaians speak.
Yo, speaking of Ghana,
yeah.
So cousins said they come. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but sooner than later they coming back to America.
That's tough. Dang, I want to ask questions now.
Nah, yeah, we definitely gotta do a show with them too.
That's fire, yeah, because they're gonna have a lot to bring back. They're gonna have a lot to bring back. I remember when I first brought it up to him. It was just on some shit like this is when I smoked. I went to go cop up, and I was just chatting I really want to go to Ghana or whatever. He was like, that's crazy. I'm about to head over there in the next few weeks. And someone's just really out there. But it was never permanent, right? It was only.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I really don't know. I think it was just
trying to reconnect kind of thing, or maybe just homesick, I guess.
But they from. Well, I think they was born in America.
Yeah. I don't know. We can't digress.
We'll ask all those questions.
Yeah.
But
they the homies though. That's good news.
Yeah, man. So first day of the podcast is a little weird. Filming myself.
Same.
Pretty much, I would say the same for you.
Same.
I'm usually behind the camera.
I'm usually just.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't even really record like that. I feel like this is expressing what I would write down in a journal. Yeah. Kind of thing.
So I feel like it's called Ground Zero, by the way, for those that are tuning in. And essentially what that means, at least to me, is just start from the bottom and then just as we go, you're just gonna see our progress.
You can say for the both of us, because it's funny the way that. Not really funny, but we was both work in the back of the truck thinking of shit like this, trying to come up with a name, and it's just the perfect sort of embodiment of I guess, the path that our lives are taking right now and stuff like that. So yeah, ground zero. And I feel like everybody could relate. It just makes sense starting from the bottom. Now we almost there.
Guys, there's definitely gonna be a lot of lifestyle talk on here.
Mm-hmm.
Just like what we're going through as young men in general, and just young humans.
Experiences, questioning shit, a lot of critical thinking, because like that's the only way you can grow. So it's really just bringing those things here and sort of giving y'all like that insight into how we think and just overall experiences that we come across in general, overcoming those obstacles. And I'm sure other people are going through the same things that we're going through. And it's fun to talk about, you feel me? Like to really get things off of your chest. And get the feedback from other people too, and talk with other people about the same thing.
Yeah.
Because everybody always got their own sort of like story or twist on whatever you're going through. Like everybody's going through something, but it's just to get those different sort of perspectives. It's really insightful.
Yeah. So this isn't really gonna be like a situation where we're interviewing artists, because I know that's what people will probably expect from me.
Word.
I have some artist friends. I might bring them on here. Whatever happens. I'm not forcing anything. But this is not gonna be like, oh, this is a music podcast. Or this is like
yeah.
like
strictly entertainment kind of thing.
What the
hell is that? Does that ever happen up here?
I don't know what that is.
I really want to go like see.
Yeah, I live in the hood, so like
yeah. You gonna hear some shit.
You might hear
stuff.
shootout. You might hear like, hey.
Yeah. That low key really caught me off guard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I feel like in general this is just like I said before, it's a lifestyle podcast. It's not something where we're like divulging into the last album that just dropped last week. Like,
I mean, stuff like that's gonna come up in conversation, but it's not gonna be the main like topics of discussion here. So
we're gonna talk about like business ventures and like hygiene.
Right. As we said, like everything that has to do with growth.
Yeah.
You feel me? To really sum it up.
Yeah.
And that's everything. That's gonna embody, like encompass everything. So all that stuff.
But yeah, I think we should start with like really. I don't feel like, especially a lot. I feel like for me, I don't know if it's the same thing for you, but like I don't feel like people really know like where we like started from, and like why we do what we do now, and why we continue to do what we do now, stuff like that. So like,
you talking about in regards to like lifestyle?
Not even.
Or just
you can even go as far back to like who you were in middle school, like the type of person, what you were doing in middle school, or even earlier than that, and like how that brought you to where you are right now, like the path that you took.
Oh, okay. I feel you. So essentially like, I don't want to say taking it back to the past, but like thinking about the person that you were and essentially how you sort of transformed and sort of highlighting what you brought. What am I trying to say? Like what you brought from that. I want you to go first.
Okay.
Because I want to get a better understanding of where you're going with it.
So,
but I think I understand.
Sip my tea. So what I'm essentially getting at is just like, alright. So for me, like, we grew up in a generation where we got socials, like we got MySpace. We started on MySpace, and we started on Facebook, and then we started on like Snapchat and Instagram, whatever.
Yeah, like we lived through all of those.
We lived through all the beginning of all of that.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
We even low key, we were there when computers first started popping.
I remember
getting my first like big back, my boy. Like
I was living in North. Like I remember it was that shit took like 10 minutes to start up. They had to dial up.
Dial up.
Yo.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay, so sorry to cut you, but I see what you're saying now. Basically, starting from the beginning, like where.
But like but more personally, so like people know who you are. Like people don't know about critical.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. Like where my head was at, the things that I was interested in, all of those things back then, and like how it like sort of molded me into the person I am today and stuff like that. I don't want to cut you though. We was talking about dollar.
Yeah, for me, for real, like where it started for me, I mean, I don't know, because I feel like I've changed so much, multiple times. Like I had so many, like I'm revolutions, whatever.
Revelations is pretty decent.
But you can start like middle school. Obviously I was born in whatever elementary happened, blah blah blah. I grew up in North North. Moved to EO in 3rd grade, met Jameek. And
that was Central, right?
Yeah, ETO. So then after that, middle school is really where like my uncle would come over with like DJ turntables. I'm like, yo, what is this? Like, why are you bringing? Like at the time, it's like big vinyl. Like it's a big vinyl case. He's coming from like Kentucky.
Yeah, it's like, why are you traveling from there over here with this? You got a gig, motherfucker? Like,
and then, like, at the time, too, I don't know if you ever had one of these, you know, the Audio Technicas? No, I think it was just Technics.
Nah.
The glass thing. Like, it has 2 speakers. It has 2 speakers. It has, like, the amp and everything.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. Wait, so he was traveling with that?
No, we had.
But y'all had it. Yo, we had one. Yo, now that I think about it, like that was like it back then too. Like my dad definitely had one. You had to push glass.
I think every Jamaican
had pop out. Yeah.
I remember, like I found out later on, like when they moved to New York.
Yeah.
From Jamaica, they like that's what they had. Like, that was the.
Yeah, it makes sense now. I'm gonna ask my dad too, like because it was definitely in almost every Jamaican's household, but we definitely had one of them jumps.
That's another thing too. Not a lot of people know I'm Jamaican. I don't talk about it a lot. I mean, I do my little accents here and there on my IG stories, but like I'm the first of my family. Is that the right way to say it? Like that was born in America. Like nobody else in my family was born in America.
First of your generation.
Yeah, first of my generation. Except like my cousins and stuff. Like they're a little older, but like immediate family.
I feel like there's another word for it, but no, you're right.
It's tea busting.
Telling you, I didn't even put that lemon in there. Might have just do it just for me before I finish off.
But
yo, pulling this out of nowhere is type funny. It's type max.
But yeah, so like he would bring over turntables and everything, and like he would just be playing music, and you know, being curious, just a curious kid. Like I always just wanted to know everything. Because I feel like at that age, I didn't have a limit on what I could or couldn't do. It was just like, I'm going to try it, see what's up. And that's what I loved about being a kid, too. Like, you just try anything.
Yeah. We were way more free and just like, I don't know, way more absorbent back then.
At that time, too, though, so like simultaneously, so like on my block, there's like family across the street, they're Bayesian, Lamar Kiran.
I knew they were Caribbean, didn't know.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
So, Lamar was like into like club music and stuff too. So like simultaneously, while my uncle would come over with DJ equipment, I would go across the street and like learn how to make club music.
Right. Okay, put a pin in that real quick.
Yeah.
When you first, I guess, started tinkering with your uncle's equipment, you didn't have like nothing struck you as like, yo, this is it, or okay, it was just like tinkering and really just just
playing around. Cause like, I guess that was our bonding time.
Right.
But like,
it was intriguing.
He would put me on his laptop. Like, I think it was virtual DJ back then too. So like, he would put me on virtual DJ. And like, learn how to match the BPMs to these songs. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. But
it's funny though. I remember that's one of the first things you put me on.
Yeah.
Quick digression. I used to be in that house. There used to be a whole dancehall party in my room every like weekend, bro. And I used to really be mixing it up in there. Just a laptop, no
Yeah.
turntables, Nathan. Going
Bro.
crazy. But go ahead.
Yeah, so like he will be like, yo, learn the BPMs of this song. I want you to mix 2 songs together and make it make sense. And I'm like, I don't know what you mean. He don't really show me nothing,
Yeah.
and then he'll go into vinyls and then do it, and I'm like, how did you do that?
Mhm,
Whatever.
mhm.
Fast forward, finally figured it out, sat down, like numerous nights, staying up all night, just
Mhm.
figuring that stuff out.
And it's funny because you don't even necessarily like us as at that age. It's like you don't necessarily got to be super intrigued or like passionate about something to really like commit yourself to figuring something out.
Mhm.
You feel me? Because a lot of the times you just want to just figure it out just
Yeah.
because kind of thing. But go ahead.
So like, excuse me. I'm trying to think.
Yeah. So numerous nights figuring out turntables, or mixing.
And I'm trying to think as far as like what transitioned me into like getting more
into
deep. I
Lamar.
think more so it was just like a situation where like I was this honor student in class and everything. It was something to get away from because like I wasn't hanging out with people
Mhm.
outside of like unless I'm on the block playing basketball. That was
Mhm.
the only other thing I was doing.
Right.
Like, I'll come outside and play basketball.
Right.
That's it. But yeah, I would literally just every time when I get in the house, that was the only things I was messing with. I was trying to learn that.
Mhm.
Eventually got somewhere with it
Mhm.
to the point where, all right, let me download FL Studios. Hated FL Studios. Did not use it
Remember
again.
that shit was like.
Then I got Acid. Mind you, we're from the hood, so this stuff is cracked. This stuff is stolen.
So yeah, everything.
Whatever.
You feel me?
We got it
Everything's
on
cracked.
the computer. It was easy as hell. You just get the keygen, throw it on
Do your
there,
thing.
boom, boom,
Hack
boom.
that bit.
I did it. I don't care. It happened. So you know, making a couple club songs, boom, boom, boom.
You put me on acid too.
Or
Started going crazy. I mean, like 1 or 2.
put like making a couple club songs, posting on. I think. All right, so I don't think. I ain't really use MySpace like that. I don't know.
Bro, we was just talking about that the other day.
Yeah,
But I don't. Yeah, I don't think. I don't even remember you being on the space like that.
Nah, I
The
tried.
space.
You feel me? I tried to
Yeah.
back with some of the shorties from middle school, but it wasn't really working. I wasn't really lit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. She's like, I'm gonna let that go.
I'm that kid from honors class. It's like, yo,
Yeah, I'm gonna let that
648, 748.
Fact.
Like, come on, son.
Yo, what? I
But-
remember that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, by the way, 648, 748, 848, that's like, your homeroom number. So, like, I think it was like, I don't know if there was a 0.
I don't remember either.
I know there's a
I barely even
641.
remember the home name numbers. I think I was 647.
Yeah, so like I thought like Heart Riddle, I don't understand why y'all did that because like yo,
Yeah.
you know, looking back at it, that's like so degrading.
Giving us numbers.
Yeah,
It really was. It really was.
it's like 641. It's
641.
like,
Yeah, it's like,
no,
what?
nah, you slow.
Yo, what's crazy? I might have to tell my mom to play that in the pick 3, because that's my 3 digits in my phone number.
647,
641.
641.
Yeah. But where it's super
Yo,
degrading.
super degrading.
Super
Like,
degrading.
yo, you not in 648, you can't do
You
this.
can't.
shit.
Yeah. Like
yo.
what? What you mean?
Damn.
I think it was okay. So 6-4, whatever. 6-7-8 went by grade, I guess.
Yeah, the first number was the grade, but like
Yeah. But
The
still, they was
41
ranking
to-
you. They was basically
yeah,
ranking you. Like,
yeah.
that shit's crazy.
the
Disrespectful.
1 to 8, the 41 to 48 was just like.
Disrespectful.
Yeah, if you're in 41, you're dumb. If you're in 48, you're
Like
honest.
that.
Like,
I'm trying to remember. It's this anime that don't remind me of. I cannot remember for the life of me. I'll figure it out.
but
Yeah, let me.
anyway, so yeah, I was an honors class, so like, you know, I'm not part of the popular crew or whatever. So like MySpace, I tried. I ain't know what I was posting on there. I was like, yo, it's not really working for me.
Yeah.
Facebook popped up. Start again. This is 8th grade, I think. This is either 7th or 8th grade. I don't remember exactly. But then
Facebook.
It
It had to be like around 8.
It was definitely, we were still
Around
in middle
8th
school
grade.
because I remember like, was it 8th grade prom or 8th grade social, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was posted on
I
Facebook.
actually had a social picture on Facebook.
Yeah.
I remember that. Wow.
But I had posted like, it was terrible too. If I could find it, I'll post it one day. But it was a terrible, like, I think it was a Chris Brown song.
Oh wow. Wait, on a book?
On the book. Like I found out a way to like make video and audio on like the old Windows computers.
Yeah.
And
That's
like,
crazy.
I posted like a video clip with the club song. And you know how like
That's super innovative.
Yeah.
For the book at that time, that's nice. That's like,
you know how like the remember like when YouTube first started?
Yeah.
And it was like
Boy was experimenting, yo.
You remember like those yeah, it's funny as hell.
I gotta hear them.
You remember like those when you look at like the PlayStation 3 is about to come out, the leaks?
Okay. On YouTube?
On
like
YouTube.
That?
This is like early YouTube. Like it's like they have like the blue screen with like the typing and everything. It's like handwritten typing. It's like gotta look at the new PS3 or whatever, and it'll be like some like crazy like contraption, like somebody will fuse the PS1 and PS2. Like it was just fan-made stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of remember what you said.
When you get a chance, look it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. I gotta look it up.
But like, it was basically on that type of time. Like I'll just use like a blue background with like crappy writing. Put like DJ Dre.
Oh
and
wow.
Just like I put the club song on there. It wasn't even really club. I think I was still like.
I remember. I'm sorry. It just hit me. It just hit me like those videos with blue backgrounds. And stupid ass font. Yeah.
And that one song.
Yeah, and it's like a slideshow.
Yeah.
I remember. Wow. Yo, you legendary for that, my boy.
So
yeah, that's tough. That's how you know niggas was on that time.
Yeah,
like,
bro. I was at home watching everything.
Yeah.
So like when YouTube came out, I'm like, bet.
That's tough. I didn't even because I don't remember it. I didn't watch YouTube as much as other people did. I don't think when it first dropped. I can't recall like it being a big part of my life when it first dropped. But I remember the videos.
Yeah. I think again like Lamar, he put me on YouTube for real.
Yeah.
Like,
I think Neil probably put me on YouTube and shit like that too.
But so it wasn't even really a club song when I posted it, but it was like this. I had Virtual DJ at the time, and it was a setting where you could like record what you're doing. So like I fake just like chopped it. It was terrible. It was trash. But people was gassing it up.
Yeah, like well, it's tough. That's because what year was this? This is like early 2000s. Like, so it's just amazing to.
Yeah, what year was that? 8th grade.
That was like 2009. Yeah, 2009 finish.
Yeah, 9. But so yeah, fast forward, posted that, then Abdul, he was like, yo, let me throw some vocals on one of the tracks.
Legendary, legendary.
And then that went crazy for a little bit, but it wasn't crazy like EO crazy. It was just
the reason why I say it's legendary because that shit lasted for a minute.
Yeah,
the drop lasted for a while.
And then I was like, all right, this is the club music. I gotta actually figure out how to make club. So like I sat down. I think me and Kieran just sat down one day and then we were just playing around. I think Lamar had started something, and I just sat down and was like, nah, fix this, fix that. And then it's on my SoundCloud to this day. I think this should be the first song.
Like your first track you ever made,
like official club chart. The throw that shit back thing.
I love that song. You don't understand. In early high school, that was a banger. That's the Jones you go to
the bass was just nasty.
That's what you want to hear at the school party.
Yeah.
Immediate lappy.
But yeah, it was me and Kieran. We like played around with that, dropped it on SoundCloud, and yeah, it was just like, it's lit. People was commenting. I'm like, yo,
I do this now.
Like, so fast forward into high school. Alright, so we got our DJ and our do club music. I mean, that kind of go hand in hand. I feel like if you produce, you should pick up DJing. I wouldn't say necessarily if you a DJ you should pick up producing, but it's like it's cool to know if you do.
Yeah, I feel like they go hand in hand. In that
They go hand in hand. So fast forward, we in high school now. DJ, bro. Like,
like he was the DJ.
Yeah,
he was the DJ.
They wouldn't let me DJ freshman year though.
I think I remember that, but I guess it's probably because you were new.
Yeah, because they had somebody. I don't remember who it was, but whatever.
I think it's something to do with dreads.
But for me,
that's when things took a turn a little bit. Sort of evolved a little bit. Got introduced into the multimedia type stuff.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. That's sophomore year. I don't think I.
No, I'm just saying in high school in general.
Oh yeah. High school, yeah, for sure. So like, let me get to that. So basically, I'm doing club music. I think I did club music pretty much throughout all high school except for senior year.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did club music in senior year, but like it wasn't. It was sporadic. It wasn't as like consistent. Like freshman year, I was dropping like at least every week, if not every month.
I remember that.
But then senior year, when I felt like it, I guess like it could be 3 months. I'm like, yo, drop.
It's funny too because I think freshman year is when we started to really get closer to freshman year. Cause like we knew of each other in third grade and stuff like that, but we weren't like besties or anything at that time. But
if
it's
anything,
like
I was closer to Jameek.
Yeah.
Well, like middle school and everything.
Right. So that's me definitely that was cool.
Yeah.
Then we started kicking it a little bit more in high school. Mainly high school. Yeah. But go ahead.
So, I'm trying to think. I think freshman year too. So like, when the multimedia stuff did kick in, it was because of Trish, and she would do like, she would just be taking pictures on her phone. Mind you, bro, when I was in middle school, and I think even parts of high school, I had a flip phone. You feel me? I had that Motorola.
Same, so like, that Motorola?
Bro, like, we not talking taking pictures.
I'm trying to text.
Like, you feel me?
Text my little
take like 5 minutes to text. You gotta hit the button 3 times just to hit one letter. Like,
messing with
she was
ringtones.
taking pictures, and then she had a camera too. It's like so she had a phone. It still was like a little, like one of the Android you open up. But it took decent pictures.
Okay.
And then
I remember that quality.
Yeah, and then she got a camera, and then she was like doing little edits and stuff on Tumblr and all that stuff.
Tumblr days.
How you do that? I want to do that.
Yeah.
So
super
like,
intriguing. So is that something that hit you like, I like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just like,
I'm trying to.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
And at the time too, Facebook was lit. Like people was posting mad different types of pictures. It was mad people doing Photoshop.
And the edits was dumb.
Yeah. Especially in freshman year when I took, I had a Photoshop class. It was a marketing class, but you had to learn Photoshop.
Oh, okay.
So I forgot. I think that was DeSilva. No, that's the history teacher.
History. I don't remember that marketing shit.
Damn. Whatever.
Moa?
Nah,
that was English. That was definitely. I thought that was English. Yeah, I'm just naming teachers now.
I don't remember the teacher's name. I'm sorry. Yeah. So picked up Photoshop. Just going to Bloomfield Tech, you gonna pick up. I knew how to weld freshman year.
Yo, we learned so much. Like I was a whole carpenter.
Yeah, like
learned hella shit. HVAC was
electrician, multimedia, and TV and film. That was in our school.
Yeah.
We had way more stuff too, like business. Whatever.
That school low key made us very versatile. Like I know how to splice now. I'm like that.
Word.
I could chop up pipes. Like I'm a plumber low key. What else I could do? Everything, bro.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry to cut you. I made an air powered motor. This is when sustainability class. Yeah. That was like probably one of my favorite projects ever. But we was like grinding the camshaft and the intake and exhaust valves, and then we was able to basically attach the compressor to it and made the engine run off air. It was dope. But go ahead.
Yeah, I don't want to drag it too long. It's like
it's a lot. So just sort of try to compress it.
So like,
and we'll just unfold it.
Yeah, I picked up photography real quick. It wasn't nothing serious. Like, it was just one of them things. I'll take pictures of myself just because. I think my mom had got me a camera or whatever, and then I was just taking pictures of myself in the crib, and then friends taking pictures. Like word. Just like stuff like that. Yeah. And I think that battery about to die.
You got what, 30%?
So, then sophomore year I took multimedia as my course, I guess. My
what do they call it?
I don't remember what it was called. But so multimedia. So in multimedia, you were doing web design, you were doing animation, you were doing video editing if you wanted to. You could even make beats in there if you wanted to. That was just whatever it was. But mainly it was doing web design and animation. And we made a video game too. I think I still have
what
that
game? What was it?
Like some little, like Flash, like little Flash games.
Nope.
Like
okay, Flash games.
Like
okay.
So like if you go on if you remember crazymonkeygames.com or like
one of those type of like a Pac-Man-ish.
Yeah, basically. But Flash is no longer. So.
That was lit. That was Flash days.
So I picked up all of that. I'm picking up all of these things, and at the same time, there's a lot of stuff going on in the personal house, like mental health and shit like that. So that was like my getaway, just to like
really throw yourself into that type of stuff. Really help you. So, because what I'm trying to, I keep asking this because I really want to try to, I guess, figure out, I don't know, if you were doing these things just because it was something that presented itself, or like, did you get a revelation of some sort, like, yo, it hit you in the heart, like, yeah, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, to some degree. You never really got that? It was just
in a sense, yeah, but like, no. So like,
it was a way of,
it was an escape for me.
Yeah,
more so. I wouldn't even say like it was like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do for us. I didn't know. I didn't figure that out until like last year, this year.
Right.
What I actually wanted to do.
Right.
So.
But you feel like that definitely led you to the decision.
For sure. If I didn't do any of those things, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Shit, I don't even know if I'll be around today for real. Cause like that's
especially in the area you was in, given the personal life.
That like all those things helped me escape. For real. Like I just be in my room. Yeah. So I think I was talking about like just how like doing all those things got me away, but like
it saved you.
Yeah, pretty much. Like realizing like how important mental health is now, and like not understanding what it was back then, because it wasn't talked about, especially in the black community, especially in the hood.
You just gotta be tough.
You just gotta be tough. You just gotta sit through it, especially in Jamaican household. It's not a place where you are welcome to show emotion, because it's looked at as weak, and especially in a household where you don't have that male figure, and you've been told since you were young, yo, you're the man of the house, but it's like, bro, I don't even.
Yeah, that's so much. It's like I can't relate as much, but I can feel what you're saying, because that's a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure.
Throwing that on you, and then it's just it's a lot of pressure.
Like
they expect you to be a certain way, and it's like you can't learn or operate a certain way from them because they're women, so they can't even like give you certain advice or just guide you.
I rarely talked to my dad at the time. It was just like I see him when I see him type of stuff. And then it was a situation where it was like I didn't want to see him anymore, because I felt like when I did go down there, it wasn't like
genuine.
Not the fact that it was genuine, but then this is also a point is that you don't know what is going on in somebody else's life too.
Right.
So, but
I get what you're saying.
When I was down there though, it was just like he'll take me there, and he'll be out. Like, he'll go do
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
He'll leave me at the crib with my little sisters.
So it's like you weren't really just falling into place, or
So
it wasn't fruitful.
like the only male figures I had in my life was people I grew up around, like on the block or whatever.
That's dangerous.
Dangerous. So like that's where like, you know, I don't want to incriminate myself, but like, you know,
But yeah, you know,
like,
we all indulge. So we all indulge.
You know,
Herbs.
So, yeah, herbs and stuff like that. But like even like selling herbs for a little bit, you know, stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, essentially, I just feel like doing all those things was just an escape, and it wasn't until we graduated where, like, all right, so I recorded like 1 or 2 people while like throughout high school, like actually engineered a track that was terrible. Didn't know what I was doing. I think you can only hear out through one ear. It was just bad.
Shit show.
But I think the year after high school, I kind of hit me and was like, "Yo, do you record?"
Yeah.
I was like, "I mean, I got like the setup, but like I don't. You could try
I
it."
do it, but we can do it.
So
wait, really quick, who were the 2 that you recorded before?
Isaiah, if you remember him, and Davon.
Oh.
Davon was that.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember. You should remember that, but yeah, he was rapping at the time too. But it wasn't like, I don't know, serious nothing. It was just like trying out.
Isaiah, was that dark skin?
Nah, it's Spanish dude. Zay. OTD Zay.
Nope.
Pulled up to the studio a couple times. But yeah, so yeah, fast forward, I'm recording out of Canada now, figuring that out, making beats, more like I stopped making club music. I started to get into more beats because at the time, somewhere in like high school, I met like, I don't know if you remember when I met that dude that had the studio on Central Ave.
I remember going up to that one.
Yeah, he was like, "Yo, I heard from this one dude that you messing with the beats and stuff. We need like young kids to like do producing and engineering, and we could teach you how to engineer and stuff like that."
Yeah. Why not?
Take the opportunity.
Yeah.
It was Terrell from
I remember. Was that, whatever happened to that? I meant to ask you too. Was it like a bust? Like the people who owned that studio?
It was more so me, for real, because I didn't.
You were.
So what happened was, it was, I don't know if you were there, but it was like a listening party.
I remember.
Like where you like play your own beats and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember pulling up to that.
So like I had like 1 or 2 guys hit me on Facebook afterwards, like, "Yo, I'm trying to buy that beat." I'll just go. I'll just go. Like, what do you want? Like,
how you gonna get the bird?
Yeah, exactly. Like, there was no cash app.
Like,
There was none of that. So like, he's like, "I'll pay you $5 for this." I'm like, "Oh, damn. I guess." I don't know. I asked. I forgot who I asked. I was like, "Yo, should I sell a beat for $5?" He was like, "Hell nah. Should be selling it for like 100." I'm like, "Oh, word? You could
that's
sell
what
it
I do. Yeah. You can do that?
Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, bro, I'll be selling beats for like 100, 200. I'm like, "What?" I was just making this in the crib. I don't know. Like,
that's another experience too, because then you'll soon find out too, even the whole like industry of selling beats and stuff like that.
Yeah, but personally, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't do it because I feel like this first encounter basically explains why I don't really do it. It was just awkward. Like, it was a weird tension. Like I don't know if people are like good readers of energy, but it was just like, I feel like he owned me for some reason. Like if I sold
it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable.
Especially I'm young. He was like 20 something. I'm like, I was 15.
You have too much power right now.
Like,
I don't want to even be in this relationship with you.
So like, I was off that. I wasn't feeling that. I think the only official beat I ever sold was like one where he asked me like, "Yo, I'm about this beat posted."
How much was it? 50?
Like $50. But like, I ain't like the song. So I'm like,
yo, I don't even want my name on this.
I don't want my name on this. Like,
so yeah, at that point you just
that's why I stopped.
Distance yourself from that.
I don't like selling beats. I don't ever want to sell a beat in my life. I'd rather just do the paperwork. We do our splits. Whatever.
Something to do for fun though.
Yeah. And that's another thing too. Once you start like turning your something that you have fun with into like a business, it kind of takes the fun out of it.
Yeah,
and
for
you
sure.
Like, lose the passion.
For sure.
And I had that happen to me plenty of times. Like, with beats.
Somewhat with videos too.
Like
recording videos.
Too, definitely.
I think like with videos is more so I guess the creativity aspect.
Yeah.
And it's also like we've spoken about is, you don't really get quality clientele, so it gets super repetitive, and now it's like you have to deal with different personalities and just people who are unprofessional. And it's just sorts of, like you said, it crushes that beauty of it. It's like you can't even like mess with
the
it.
Fun.
The fun, yeah.
So yeah. So like the other year, I got into relationships, stuff like that. That also is like a part of the growth of me. It taught me what type of person I am and like what I do and don't tolerate.
Life lessons.
But
there's a lot of growing there.
A lot we could.
It's like it's a lot to talk about.
You gotta save that.
But you can't, and it's like certain things you can't even really express to some degree. I probably look like a fiend. I keep scratching my face, bro. These ingrowns is killing me, bro. But yeah, it's a lot you want to talk about, but some you can't even talk about. But we'll say that.
We save it for the next episode.
Yeah.
But the gist of it is that relationships happen. Whatever happens.
Yeah, exactly. And y'all know, I'm sure some of y'all know like how you grow from relationships and stuff like that in general. So
you either go up or down, and I went both ways. If that make any sense, like.
But yeah, that's
alcohol and all that stuff got into play.
That's hilarious because I don't even remember you being like you weren't really an alcoholic at all. He wasn't an alcoholic, but like a drinker in general. It was like a quick phase,
but like
it was it was down bad. Like
no, but like you gotta understand though, like it was like a situation where this shouldn't be normal. You should not have Spectre in your freezer.
Yeah, chilling, like chilling, bro. Ready.
And then every day you come home from work,
you drop that.
I'm 19, 20, bro.
Yeah, that's a bit max.
Yeah,
that's
every
a bit
night
max.
you put a little shot in you.
Yeah, I didn't even know this was happening.
Yeah, bro. Like,
to some degree, because I would come and see the Spectre.
Yeah,
but yeah.
But then after the situation happened, now I'm on Henny Black on the floor crying and shit.
Yeah, that's what kind of movie is this right now? I don't want to laugh at the pain, but
that was
hilarious.
That was very short lived. That was like a couple of days, but it was bad.
It was bad. It was down bad.
And yeah, that's like from 18 to 21. Or so. That's where like I'm figuring out what business is. I'm 25 now. I'm figuring out what business is, like how to make money from recording people. How to
just figuring
make
out how
money
it works
in the music industry.
And it's crazy. I don't want to cut you. Let's put a pin in that. But at this time too, me and him weren't even like that. Where we weren't in like the best communication. We weren't having the best communication because I think I was like in school.
Yeah, you was at NSU.
I was at, but I know I started at ECC first.
Oh yeah.
So, but in general, what I'm saying is like we didn't communicate as much. Obviously, we were still homies, but it's just like we weren't there for each other as much as we are now, especially. But it was just a lot of points in our lives where it's like I was saying, like it's certain stuff I didn't even know. It's just because I just wasn't even there to even know, kind of.
Yeah, because I dropped out Bloomfield College after my first semester. I was like, I'm not. It's not for me. So I didn't have the school thing.
Right.
Everybody else was in school.
Right.
But
yeah, just wanted to point that out. Yeah. But you was talking about learning business.
Yeah, so like I'm working at Modell's, and I think by 19 I was like a department manager, and then became a store manager. That young, so like I'm learning about business through that.
Yeah.
So I'm taking that whatever I'm learning from there, because they send us the classes and everything, how to like become a manager or whatever. I'm taking that whatever I'm learning from that and applying it to like real world stuff. Like, all right, how do I make money doing recording people? I made a studio in my basement at the house at the time, charging $25 an hour.
Studio was lit too.
Studio was lit.
Nice little vibe in there, you feel me? That Utah, the
And
APs.
you feel me? You know, life has its ups and downs. House got foreclosed, and then you know, I feel like situations like that, because it wasn't a situation where like I was progressing though. You know, it was just like
life is sort of happening to you. Yeah, it's
going.
going.
So like I feel like that situation happening was like a humbling moment where it's like, yo, let's reroute. Not really.
Yeah, that I feel you. That's definitely something that just sort of put some fire under you. Just make you really sit down and like, alright, absorb what is actually happening around you and make some changes.
Exactly.
That's because it never really hit me the way it just did regarding that situation and how it could like really lead to a freaking just a change in your path, the way you looking at life in general.
Yeah, at the time I was mad as hell, but like now looking back, it's like, oh, alright, cool. Now things happen in life for a reason. It's not just
happening out of thin air kind of.
Yeah, it's not like
reason.
The Most High has like a resentment towards you and you need to learn type stuff. It's just like literally, yo, change up. So yeah, that happened and everything.
Apartment,
came to the apartment. As soon as I got to the apartment, got out of a relationship, essentially like in a month or two.
And so there's a whole bunch with that going on too in between all of this transition.
Another situation.
So it's that's just another layer of the difficulty.
So like a whole bunch of losses, but then also a new sense of game, because now I'm getting to learn myself. That's another thing too. Like throughout high school on to I think until 21, I was always in a relationship, or I was always with somebody. Just for that comfort. So
it's crazy because we're kind of the opposite too, because he was in a relationship and I just was never in a relationship.
Lucky, man.
Not of my own accord, but yeah, I feel you. So it's like that's why I kind of appreciate it now, because I learned to be with myself and I learned to like I enjoy being with myself, which is kind of obvious because I am like a bit of an introvert, but I ain't gonna like.
See, I would say I'm an introvert too, but it's really just I don't really like too much people.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I didn't want to like exaggerate that. It's more so, if I vibe with you, I vibe with you. Obviously, I could talk to a camera.
Like I feel like in my aspect, it's just more so like I'm very observant. So like a lot of people, I'll just know off bat like I'm not gonna exactly.
Like, so it's just not gonna. We're not gonna
force it.
Yeah.
Just leave it as it is.
And I think that's what it is for the most part too. But definitely there are times where I like just lose energy, or I just need time to recharge kind of thing. So the shutting down does happen. But continue though.
21. That was really the age where I just like lost a lot, and I had to be by myself, like for the first time. Like it's like
a lot of thinking.
I had to stop and like really assess what is going on with my life, like as far as my mom's mental health, as far as like my mental health, as far as like my family dynamic, and like
position in life right now.
What position in life?
The trajectory.
Where am I going as far as work? I wasn't working at Modell's anymore when I was 21. I think I was working at Amazon, and I lost my job at Amazon the same time we moved. So I wasn't even working when we moved into the apartment. So
That's a lot.
I
Like,
had
at
a
that
job,
point, yeah.
I ain't had nobody. My phone with AT&T, I had $2,000 in debt with that. Like, I had a flip phone, bro. I had to start over and get a flip phone again. Like, it's a lot of humility and just like resetting, because you known as this popular ass nigga. And shit like
you
that.
do all this, you do this, but it's like it's a lot going on behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, bro, and you just like, damn, I gotta really take this on the chin. Let me tuck away for like a good 6 months to a year, and like really buckle down.
And to that point too, is like at this time, I wasn't aware of a lot of the, I guess you could say the behind the scenes and stuff like that that's going on with him. So it's like I used to just pull up at the crib sometimes, just like, damn, I can't wait to be up like this to get my equipment and things that I want to do and start to, push myself, just get my equipment and stuff like that for the things that I had in mind to do and stuff like that.
Whole time, nigga.
Whole time, yeah, whole time. Like, so
Like,
it just goes to show you never really know like what somebody's going through.
So like, you feel me? Like, it was just one of those things where it was just like, all right, man. My first job after all of that was an egg factory. I worked there for 1 day.
Got low. You finished the shift?
No, I walked out.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, my boy went
they told me it was an 8-hour shift.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I bet I could do that. I ain't nothing really. I think it was getting paid like $10 an hour or something like that. It was something bad. It was just like, it's a temp agency. Let me just take the job. Whatever.
Yeah.
$10, $11 an hour. Cause I was waiting for Amazon driver. Like, I was waiting for them to get back to me because I just turned 21.
Okay.
You needed to be 21 at the time. But yeah. Oh, I did have a record too. Damn.
You did?
I had something on my license. That's why I was scared.
Oh,
because it was taking so long, but they still hired me. But yeah. So yeah, I was working there. It's $10 an hour. They said 8-hour shift. I'm like, bet. Mind you, not to be racist or anything, I'm the only black person there. It's all Spanish people. Nobody speaks English.
Oh wow,
I'm lost.
That's difficult. Yeah.
I'm the only.
Not even management.
Even the management, bro.
That's wow. Yeah, you're not supposed to be there, my boy.
But like when I got hired, it was English people. Like, it was American people. I'm like,
how HR English, but like the whole facility. Yeah.
So I'm in there. You feel me? Doing the 8 hours. 8 hours is up. It's like 3 o'clock. Either 3 or 4 o'clock. I go to the manager because I still see everybody working. I'm like, yo,
Yeah, it was good.
And then he was like, no, we're not done. You finish when everything is done.
Oh,
I'm
said
looking in the back.
Mountains
of eggs, bro. It's still not done.
Yo, I'm sorry, but the fact that it's eggs too makes it funny. Like, eggs.
Bro, I was like, nah.
Yeah, I'm about to get low.
So what you mean? Like, I gotta stay here until it's done? He's like, yeah, you might not be done till 7.
My boy looked at the eggs.
I'm like, 7? And we gotta come back tomorrow?
Yeah.
Nah.
Hey, I'm gonna see you later, my boy. Yo, that's funny.
I got that one check, $70. Like 2-3 weeks later. Like,
yeah.
Bro. So yeah, you feel me? It was just a lot of figuring out. Got the job at Amazon. Started buying camera equipment. Cause before we moved out the house, I was shooting videos, but I wasn't really shooting videos. I shot like 1 or 2 videos. People was hyped about it. I'm like, I could probably do something with that. Yeah. So I started buying more camera equipment, started shooting more videos. That went somewhere to music videos. Fast forward, met a couple people. We did a studio together. Well, I started working at the studio, then the lease renewed. We partnered up, did the studio. Basically, where I'm at now in life, is basically a new beginning. The whole trip with the shrooms and everything. Essentially, I feel like it just restarted my life. And the 75 hard challenge also helped too.
It's funny because I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know that had that much of an impact in
bro.
I mean, it definitely had an impact for me, but I feel like it was more impactful for you.
Like that it put structure and discipline back in my life, and it just made me put myself first because I had to. Like when you put yourself, you gotta work out every day, and you gotta stick to a diet, and now you gotta learn about what you're putting in your body.
Just be more aware.
And then how to able to keep yourself active every day. You have to pay attention to what you're eating, and you just all of that, all in all, you can't worry about anybody else. You're on this. I don't care what you're talking about right now.
Yeah, and even if somebody come at you with distractions, it's like, I'm more focused on this.
So now, a lot of the stuff that I'm gonna be doing and what we're gonna be doing is just gonna be for me and for us. It's not gonna be, not making a next studio to be for somebody else. It's gonna be a spot where I'm gonna be at.
Right.
So, damn.
That's crazy. One thing after the next.
Yeah, we're alright. I low-key even wonder if this is still recording, but
Doesn't that mean?
I mean, it's going still, so.
I mean, yeah, right. Well,
so
the 75-day challenge.
Past that. So essentially what we're doing as far as what we're gonna continue to be doing and everything is gonna be for us, and that's the type of time where I'm on right now. I'm not really worried about, because I feel like if you worry about other people, you're stuck at a ceiling. Gotta put yourself first.
You can find
Especially in business. You gotta put the business first. Put yourself and put your mission plan, your mission statement. All of that has to come to the forefront.
Yeah, because if you're worried about other people, it's like it clouds your ultimate vision, because nobody can see what you see the way you see it. So, even just trying to explain that to other people, or to some degree, and just trying to, I guess, compensate for other people's opinions and stuff like that, it just hinders you. So yeah. And on that note, I guess, could transition into sort of my story and where I come from. I guess I'm gonna try to break it down, because I feel like it's easy to go by grade levels, like
you got more experience.
Well, what I'm trying to say is our different grade levels in school.
Okay.
But
you could attach an experience to a grade.
But yeah, I guess I'll start off. Well, I'm Jamaican too, of course. I'm probably more expressive when it comes to that too. So a lot of people who know me probably know I'm Jamaican. It's kind of a part of my identity. But born and raised EO. Well, actually born in North, raised in EO. I live right down the block. I ain't about to.
Yeah,
okay.
No.
Nah. Alright, getting too personal. But yeah, so I guess I'll start off with elementary school. This was when I first met Dre. And after elementary school, middle school is actually where I started dancing. Not many people know that I was a dancer. I mean, it's more so the people in college, people that I've met in college, when they see me dance, they're like, what the hell? You could move that way? Yeah, I used to be like that in my prime. But those are the golden ages for me. I feel like middle school especially, middle school was just lit. I mean, obviously we were kids or whatever, it's just different experience. But what I'm getting at here though is dancing was the first sort of outlet that I had, and I wouldn't say it was something that struck me as yo, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, I was asking you, but it was definitely another way to express myself and pass the time sort of thing. For me, it's something I could escape into as well, because literally I would be obsessed with it. And now that I think about it, this is where like my YouTube experience sort of started, because that's where I learned a lot of different styles and stuff like that. I think I'm trying to remember like when's the first time I came across like dancing, and when did I like become intrigued. I think I was always like I just like to move around in general. And I used to be watching like Omarion and shit like that and be trying to move, you feel me? Like be move. Trying to be moving.
I just thought about that. The video he did the
what is that, the touch video?
Nah, it's more recent when he was on stage. And,
I don't think
he was like dancing, but it was he had the
was
mohawk thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but like
There's MMG Omarion when he was in Silent But Ross.
Yeah. I remember. Okay. But yeah, so I think it really started to hit me though when I think I came across. I'll just go with this though. I came across like the Emperors, and for those of you who grew up in like North and East Orange, you know about the Emperors, Dynamic Dynasty, Junior Emperors, Low Impact, all of them. Not Low Impact, but I think it was just Impact. But yeah, like I used to like watch them all the time. And at the time, like Neil was a big dancer too. Neil, like, by the way, he's like, I guess the closest thing I would have to like a blood brother. I knew him for as long as I can remember. Like literally, we always tell like people this, like we don't remember a time when we weren't in each other's lives. But I digress. So he was like my dancing partner, and essentially we used to be in the living rooms going crazy, bro. After YouTube on blast, just honestly just studying different styles, and it was just fun. You feel me? Like learning these different techniques and stuff like that. You feel me? And just honing my skills, and it came to a point where it was like, alright, I'm trying to remember how I got into Dynamic Dynasty. Okay, it was my aunt's friend. I think her name was Tasha, and she knew Mr. C. Rest his soul. He actually just passed too.
I'll say
it's crazy.
Rest in peace.
People might not think, but it's just something. It's something that it hits me too. Like obviously I wasn't as close with him, but you know he had a huge impact in my life, especially regarding because dancing was like something that's super important to me. It's still important to me now. He was sort of like somebody that took me in, but yeah. So Tasha actually introduced me. She introduced me to him. I remember this now like it was yesterday. Like I think she invited him over to the crib, and this is when I moved to the other house, away from the apartment, whatever. And yeah, I was on the porch. I basically auditioned on my porch, and it was fire. I don't remember what song. I need to remember what song that was, bruh. But going crazy, going crazy. He was like, "Oh yeah, we can use it." Oh, going crazy, and it was just from there. And that's when I met like a whole bunch of other dancers. Like that's when I was like thrown into that dancing world, and it was super fun, bro. Like, cause everything I used to watch on YouTube and stuff like that, I was able to live it now, and it was a different experience. You feel me? I was able to actually put it's crazy now thinking back at it, cause it's like you was working so hard for something and you like achieved it.
Yeah.
You feel me? It's like, but it didn't hit me that way at the time. But now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, yo, I was working hella hard. Like sweating, bro. Like every day, I used to dance every day in the house, and it was sort of because I was super competitive too. Cause alright, so you remember Kiwan? That's government crazy back there though. My fault, bro. I know you probably watching this shit, but my son Caution.
The drug?
Yeah.
He was quiet as hell, bro.
Quiet as hell, but he was a mammal. Like I always loved his style too, like the way he danced and shit like that. But yeah, he was his brother was like in the Emperors or whatever. Like they whole like honestly his whole family I think sort of his
that
family and their
cousin.
friends. Who?
Gary?
Yeah, I believe so. But yeah, another digression. But he was sort of like I guess a motivation for me too. You feel me? Because just being around him, and then sometimes they would actually come to Heart Middle. The dance group, they would come to Heart Middle and practice after school. You remember that?
Nah, I don't remember the practice, but I remember like we had to go to the auditorium sometimes and then y'all would dance.
Yeah.
I forgot
Heart
what that
Middle?
was. Yeah, that was Heart Middle. I remember those days. Like it was like, Cause I was making out with somebody in you know, sorry, so I remember
I'm
that.
so mad.
But
My son in there like, I'm so mad.
no, but I remember y'all would sometimes y'all would dance, like battle on stage. I don't know. I don't remember.
Oh,
what
I
it
remember.
was.
I remember that.
I don't know what it
Auditorium.
was
Yeah,
about.
yeah, I remember that.
It's like we had like those days where you just go and sit down.
Mhm. What did they call it? Assemblies?
Yeah, it was assembly. I don't know.
Yo, assemblies
But, like,
was lit on the way to the. Yo, now that I think about it, it's so much that happened too.
Yeah.
Like in the back of the auditorium.
Like,
Wow.
our middle?
Yeah.
Oh, nah.
It was like low key behind stage, but it wasn't like right behind the curtains though.
Yeah.
It was like an off.
That ain't happened to me until high school, but that's another. I ain't even gonna go into
Yeah,
that.
that's another whole conversation. But I had a few experiences there, yo. Hart Middle boys was fresh, but I ain't about to get into that. But yeah, I used to practice at Hart Middle after school, and it's crazy. I don't want to get into like a deep dive about dancing and how it sort of. Yeah, I don't want to get into a deep dive about dancing, but being there at some of the practices, because I wasn't really cool with them at the time, but I knew of them. Some of them knew of me, and this is prior to getting into dynamic too. But whatever. I used to go there and it would just motivate me. Like being around other dancers. Dancers know, like when you're around dancers that's better than you become a whole level, like a whole different level of a monster.
That nature.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's why like me and Devon, we've been talking about it a lot. Like getting back in the lab, especially using that facility, method climb, because you know they got all the mirrors and stuff like that. Yeah. So definitely about to get back in the lab soon. It's just something I don't like talking a lot about because
you kind of just gotta do it.
Yeah, you just want to do it, and when I do it, I want to be consistent. Like I've been talking about it to myself, like for the longest. It's just I haven't been able to, find the right, I guess, timing. It's still a lot going on for me right now. Like it's crazy. It don't feel like it, but it is. Whenever I sit down and think about everything that I want to do, that's why you gotta write down your goals. Just write it down. But yeah, I want to get like a studio. Not get a studio, but rent out a studio every few days or something like that, once or twice a week. But then there's method climbing, so that's something I have to think about. But I digress. Yeah, dancing had a big impact on my life, and then eventually me and Dre started making videos, and it was just another example of how our lives sort of. How do I say this without sounding corny? But like, this is how we sort of coincided. Like we sort of brought our art together, and I guess that's something that really strengthened our relationship in that regard to some degree too. So, and it's funny. I even had people, some of my friends who came to me and was like, "Yo, like that was actually really motivating to me. Like seeing y'all come together and like make content, like put things together."
Bro, I remember the first time So we did the Harlem Shake video.
I love that video, and I'm so sad.
I don't know where that is, bro. Oh my god.
Ridiculous.
We did the Harlem Shake. That went viral at the time. It's like for us, and we got like over 10K views on that.
I couldn't even believe over 10K at that time, but that's
to the point where we was in class, and then I think it was the Silver for me that brought it up. She was like. She's like, yo, this you guys on YouTube? I'm like,
what?
Man.
What? How do I don't remember that?
She pulled it up on a projector. You wasn't in the class.
Yeah, I wasn't there. Yeah.
So
that's
she
crazy.
Pulled it up.
That's tough. That's how you know you really viral, my boy. That's tough.
But like, we was always interested in being on camera. We just didn't know what. Unless it was like a little trend or something going on. Like we did the cinnamon challenge.
That was legendary too.
I
think that one might still be able to be found.
I have it on Facebook.
On Facebook,
yeah,
right?
Facebook, yeah.
I think I've seen that, not recently, but probably within the last 2 years, I went and watched that video. It was stupid.
But yeah, like we was always interested.
That's another thing too. Insert that clip.
Where
if you can find it.
I should have it on my phone somewhere.
Yeah.
But nah, like that's the thing though. Like we was always interested. So like, you know what's going on now. It's just like a lot of people are bothered that people are trying things.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, why are you trying to like do this and try to do that? Like,
super judgmental.
Like, you don't even. Instagram has only been around for so long. You don't even know what people was doing before that.
Before that, like people was out here really like
living a whole different life, just free, like just be free. Like,
and those was the days, but in the olden days you could just
Do what you want.
But now if you see somebody try something, it's like,
Super
what you doing
judgmental.
that for, bro? Like,
It's like, leave me alone.
like-
I don't even know you. Leave me alone, bro. And that's another part of what we mean by living in your own truth. Like,
Yeah,
just-
bro.
But yeah, so started making videos, and I feel like I skipped a lot, but not really. Yeah, I got into dynamic. I had to do a show that I couldn't do, All Stars. That's where I was at earlier.
Yeah.
And after that, honestly, Mr. C kicked me out. I was type sad, but it was just like, I can't be mad. I get where I went wrong, I guess, but it was really my parents' fault because they didn't let me go to the show because I had to leave school. Like I would have missed like the last 2 periods or something like that to get there.
So wait, it was either All Stars or dance. So was that the
No. The dilemma was like, okay, so Mr. C's boss was, I forgot her name, but the head of the All Stars.
Yeah.
And
I think I still have her on LinkedIn.
I'm sure I still have like Hania. You know Hania? You remember Hania? I have her on LinkedIn. And the other chick too. I forgot her name.
Oh yeah. Love to.
Loki had a crush on Hania. But but yeah. So it was his boss, whatever. I couldn't make it, so you know, it sort of messed up the whole choreography. Yeah, messed up the choreography. So you know, he felt some type of way, which is super understandable because like I wanted to make it, I couldn't make it. I understand the type of wrench that it throws into the whole plan. So that was that. I got kicked out of that, but I mean, I still love to dance. It didn't really stop me from dancing, obviously, because we made tons of videos after that. Because that was towards the end of middle school.
Never knew that.
Yeah. So fast forward now, we in high school. Bunch of videos. Mosquito hair, just being weird with that. It's annoying. Started making a lot more videos, and then
No, it's good. It's good.
Oh,
It's
okay.
still good.
yeah. So now we in high school, and this is where we started to learn a lot more trades and skills. I guess this is like the first hint of where I realized kind of where I want to take life. On the smallest of scales, sort of. It was just like, what I'm getting at is, you know, there was a bunch of trades that we could learn or be exposed to in field tech, and sustainability was the one for me. I remember being in the auditorium and they were like going over, like they were giving like an introductory
I forgot about that.
to sustainability, and this is when my boy Alexis was in there. That was like the Spanish version of me. Like that's my guy. But yeah, we were geeked out, like geeking out. After seeing the video, it was just like, yo, this is it, bro. This is it. And boom, we both signed up. I'm still tight to this day that he got kicked out. I don't even remember what he did. I don't know if it's that he got kicked out or he just didn't come back the next year. One of the two. But
I forgot.
what
I forgot
about
that happened and he got kicked out. Or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
We
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
Value with us.
Yeah, but that was that. And then, you know, because I've always been that guy that is like, I didn't like to litter. I was just always conscious about the environment and stuff like that in general. It didn't really come to the surface until high school though. And that's where I started to like live it more because I just knew I just cared about nature and shit like that in general. So that's when it sort of came to the surface, and I didn't dive deeply into it immediately because we had to do other courses too. So that's when we learned like HVAC, stuff like that, electric, what was it, graphic design. Graphic design was lit too. It's crazy because all these things I was into, and like you want to do so much, but you can't stretch yourself too thin, especially now. But yeah, so boom. It's funny because I'm remembering things that I want to talk about, but I'm already like here.
Yeah.
But you remember that video that we made? This is like probably like the best video I put on YouTube though. It was in front of the school. In front of the
That was freshman year. That was
Was it?
Was that freshman year?
It had to be like, I think it was sophomore
Maybe
year.
sophomore
I think
year.
it's sophomore
Maybe
year.
sophomore year because
That video was like still lit though. Still on
You got
YouTube
the
right
mask
now.
on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still on YouTube right now. It's sagging crazy.
I'm trying to think, was that? Yeah. Yeah, that feels right. Sophomore year.
Yeah.
That feels right.
But yeah, I digress. Fast forward into like junior, senior year now. Now we're more so into the crux of what I'm like learning in school, and it's mainly sustainability. This is like I was super into like engineering and stuff like that. Like I knew I liked tinkering with stuff, and to sort of digress off of the engineering thing is like I was introduced to cars a little bit earlier, and it's something I want to touch on too because it's such a vital part of my life. It would be a bit of a rewind too, but this was, I remember the first time I was like introduced to cars, or when I had that experience that was like it was just that experience. Basically, you know, my uncle Dylan, he drove a, I don't remember what year, but it was an Eagle Talon, blue Eagle Talon. He had the suicide doors on that John. It was nuts, bro. It was nuts. Big turbo, big blowout valve, the whole works, bro. Like everything. At that time, it was like it. Like he was known around the hood. He wasn't like a hood guy, but like whatever. Yeah, he was known around. He was known in the area. I remember he pulled up. This is when we was in elementary school. He pulled up to ETL, and I remember I was in front of the school with some friends. I don't remember who it was. I think it was like, I want to say G-Quan or Dejan.
Bro, honestly,
I'm sorry I keep putting governments out there like that, but
I
like,
remember.
Day.
Yeah. I remember some faces, bro. Like,
Yeah, I know. I ain't about to get into that. I was in the front of the school with some friends, and he pulled up. That's a. I'm like, oh, let's go. I'm like, yo, but I remember at the time I was like, yo, I bet you I'm about to get in this car right here, right? As a kid, it's like, yo, you bet I'm getting this car right here. He was like, you not about to get in that car, bro. Watch. I was so gassed walking to that car, bro. Hopped in that bit, peeled off, but
like looking like
yeah, like wow, this guy. But the highlight of the story is, I remember I think we were like going up a hill, and he went into boost one time, bro, and that feeling you get when you get sucked back into the chair.
You gotta sit back.
I was like, wow. I was like, yo, is this real right now? That was the first time I was introduced to like high horsepower, the sounds, everything, because it's more than just speed when it comes to like why people love cars. It's all of the feels, the sounds, and everything, the vibrations that you get,
all the little intricacies,
all the little nuances, bro, and just those little everything about it. It just stuck right here, and you know that followed me for the rest of my life. That's gonna get into when I touch on like where I am now, touch on that build, but that leads into my like interest in engineering and stuff like that in general, and overall, like in high school, I was able to express all of that, especially in that sustainability class, which I'm super grateful for. So I wanted to go to college for engineering, right? Mm-hmm. But that didn't work out. And this is now where I sort of transitioned into a space where I'm like really trying to figure out like, all right, what do you really want to do with your life? And it was super, like, thinking back about it now, is like, it was super like stressful at the time, because you're around people, a lot of people that do know what they want to do, and then there's people that don't, obviously. But you want to be one of those people that knows what they're doing, doesn't make any mistakes, kind of thing. Like literally, you hear about people going to school and then end up changing their major and wasting a bunch of time and money. And I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna be one of those people. Guess what I did?
Yeah, you did that.
Times 10. Like, it's crazy. But this is how life happens. And honestly, us being like that first generation is like from Jamaican parents. Like, I'm the first to go to school and like make it to college and stuff like that. Not go to school, but like get to college. and I didn't have that guidance that you would need, or you know, you just didn't have the proper guidance to put you in the right positions or places. My parents obviously wanted me to go far. They wanted me to do well in school, all that stuff. Like they were gonna make sure I went to college, which I did, all that. So what I'm getting at is, ended up going to ECC because at the time I probably could have gotten into a better school, college, but I didn't think about it because my GPA at the time in high school, it wasn't the best. So I was sort of discouraged off that, and it was just like, yeah, I'm probably not gonna get into it. But after going through college and realizing how they do things, like I probably would definitely. It wasn't like horrendous, but whatever. So boom, got into ECC. This is a whole nother stage of life too, because I'm transitioning from this sort of like stage of infancy.
That's a new word. I don't know that one.
It's really just baby mind.
Okay.
Immature mentality.
I was trying to use context, but it was like
yeah. So yeah. Transitioning into that, it's like, all right, now I gotta start working. Gotta start working. Gotta get a car.
At 16, low key.
Yeah.
All-Stars.
I was gonna mention that too when we was chatting, but yeah, our first internship was in New York, off All-Stars. Really, like.
Nah, that helped 100%.
100%. Like that was a lot of, even though we were a bit immature at that time, but it just goes to show like where we were trying to get to.
Exactly. Like, having that on our resume was just like fire. Like you pull up to any job.
Any job, bro. Any retail, y'all was here, bro. Making 15, you know about the. You feel me?
That drop
15 at that time was a lot.
Yo, 15, and then you go to minimum wage. Minimum wage at that time was $7.
Yeah.
Something. I think it was $7.50 or
something.
$7.25.
Yeah,
$7.25, bro. I used to come home with $70 checks every week.
Max.
Going to work, beautiful.
That's crazy. That's crazy, bro.
I'm like, bro, what?
That's crazy when you think about it.
Oh my god.
So you can imagine going from that to All-Stars, or like just coming from All-Stars, like experiencing that, and it's like, all right. But I remember and we got paid every Friday too. I remember like getting them checks and going straight to like Aldo or some shit, going crazy.
I was losing my mind.
Yo, I wish, it's crazy. I don't even know where that money went for the most part. I'm not gonna lie.
We went half and bought a camera.
Yeah, that was very fruitful. That was a very good investment.
That was a good investment. Other than that, I can't tell you.
I can't remember. I mean, I know I tried to buy, at the time I was trying to buy a car, so I tried to get a 250, 240. What? What am I thinking about? I tried to get a 240 SX.
At 16?
Yeah. I think it was. Probably no. What?
With the internship?
I feel like no. Okay, the thing was, this was going off the internship. That's Max. This was going into college, right? And I was thinking about the money that I had made when I was in All-Stars, and I'm like, I should have saved some of that when I was trying to buy the car.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about.
Okay.
But yeah, so fast forward now, I'm transitioning into college, figuring out where I want to do, what I want to do, and shout out to all the homies from ECC. That was like legendary squad. I'm still like close friends with them now, for the most part. Yeah, still close friends with them now. But that's when I started to step. You feel me? Dancing was still a big part of my life, because that's how I made majority of the friends that I made there. And you know, I'm gonna skip all of that though, because that's very like nuanced things. The life lessons out of it though is like, I didn't really know where I wanted to go, so I told you I was going for engineering. But then I had a few friends that was telling me like, yo, you could just go the business route. Is less work, more money, or same amount of money roughly. And I'm like, yeah, like I don't mind that, because honestly I didn't mind being in the business field or doing accounting and stuff like that. Like, to me, I felt like it'll be dope. You feel me? That was just how I think about it. But now when I look at it, then it's like I really was just trying to like escape the hard work and make a lot of money easier. Wish I could have realized that back then, but I was definitely making an excuse back then. So switched the major to accounting while I was in ECC, then transferred to Montclair. And to the homies that like influenced me in that way, don't feel bad about that, because that's literally just me like learning. You feel me? I didn't really have guidance, and y'all was like that guidance for me.
I mean, you gotta learn.
Exactly.
So whether if it's a mistake or not, you gotta learn.
And now, like, yeah, and the way I look at it now is like experience that I could give my kids or my sister, stuff like that, because I can help them weed out what it is that they really want to do. That much easier because I've been through it literally. So yeah, for me, got to Montclair, and it's like, damn, I couldn't even get into the accounting program because my GPA wasn't high enough. In ECC it was high.
So
but I think
from ECC, like the conversion wasn't, that makes
sense. It did trend, like that's the reason I was able to get in, because the GPA was I got the GPA up. Bomboclad. I got the GPA up, so I was able to get in. But what was it? What was the reason why? I think it was high. It just wasn't high enough for the accounting program, so I couldn't get into the accounting program. So now I'm like spinning. And exactly what I said I didn't want to happen is happening. Like I want to go in and know what I want to do, but that's not happening. I switched my major already, and I'm about to switch my major again because I couldn't get into that.
I know you switched it once. I didn't know you switched it again.
Yeah. So now I'm doing economics because my shit advisor at the time, it's part of my language, it's like, it's some of his fault and my fault too, because bro, I'm so tight because towards for the first like year or so and a half, 2 years ish, it's like I forgot about sustainability.
Yeah.
And I didn't think to look for that. I just didn't think to look for that field at Montclair State. And they had like a pretty reasonable sustainability facility and whole like department there. So
it's one of those things where you gotta ask.
Yeah, so it's like eventually, I think one of the later meetings I had with my advisor, he was like, yeah, because I was telling him like, yeah, I'm into like green energy and stuff like that. Like if anything I could do in that area, I'd like to do. But I digress. He was like, yeah, do economics. It's the only thing you could do right now, and that's usually for the most part, like when it comes to college, like as of right now, they're trying to change that, but like economics is always that fallback degree, or if like you don't have anything else to do, they look at it like, oh, this would be good to have. You could get a reasonable amount of jobs with these, and it's usually associated with like financial advising and stuff, things of that nature. But at the time, like the professors I had, this is more so in junior year, she was like one of the greatest professors. If not the best one there in economics. Shout out to Professor, Dr. Atal.
You get that right, boy.
Those who know, Atal she was like my mother at school. Like she really whipped me into shape, low key. Like when I got to her class is when I got my first like A in economics. It was because like I wanted to prove to her like, yo, I'm like that. You feel me? Like I could do this. But I started to, get back into shape. Started going crazy. And economics is one of those things where it's like, I learned the value in economics because it's not just about money, it's a social science. So you're learning more so like behavior and like how people make decisions about not only money, but like cost and benefit and allocating resources and stuff like that. So this is where we transition into environmentalism and sustainability and how they kind of go hand in hand, which is like, my life is like coming full circle now, because on top of that, economics is also a very analytical field, and going into environmentalism and sustainability, I now find like a sweet spot in between the both, because you need the both you need economics to sort of make environmentalism or sustainability work. They go hand in hand. So from there on, I get back into analytics and figure out how analytics go into sustainability. And now I'm remembering how much I loved coding, and I'm starting to touch back into that STEM field and the whole like engineering and et cetera, et cetera. Not really engineering, but like you know what I mean. It's the STEM field. So boom, coding now is like it's my thing again. The first time I did coding, by the way, was in sustainability class in high school. So it was like remembering how much I enjoyed that sort of stimulated me to take this route. And then I took a class in economics. It was econometrics. I was really in love with the software that we was using. Not in love with it, but it was intriguing to me and I liked what I was doing. So I was like, yeah, I want to get into data analytics. Boom. Data analytics now. So at this time, I'm like, all right, this is what I want to do, because it's like a real struggle in trying to figure out what I want to do career-wise, because I feel like although I'm learning things that I want to learn, I still feel like I don't know what I want to do when I graduate, kind of thing.
And this was what, 2019?
2019, yeah, going into 2020, kind of thing. And no, 2019 mainly, because going into 2020 is like when I figured out I want to be a data analyst and stuff like that. But I don't want this to be like a story about my college life. So fast forward, I'm starting to figure out like, all right, this is where I start to really sit down and think about what I want my life to be and the things that I'm interested in general. And after having that little session with myself, it was sort of an ongoing thing. But I realized like, yeah, like I'm really passionate about the environment and just like the well-being of living things in general. Like I wrote a mission statement. I think it's nice for everybody to have a mission statement to sort of like define a purpose for yourself.
But that conversation with yourself too.
Because that's important. It's like, where are you going without a purpose? But my mission statement is essentially just, you want to make the world, I don't want to misquote it. It's not coming to me exactly the way it should right now. I have it in my book though. But I ain't gonna look for that right now. Probably do after. But yeah, so it's like as childish, not childish, far-fetched as this might seem, you could probably tell me the better word when I say it. But I'm really passionate about the African diaspora and just bringing our people back to the top. I'm not gonna go crazy into that, but like plays a huge role into why I'm moving the way I'm moving now. It's like I want to learn more about nutrition, more about physical fitness, just more about the ways in which we operated at a higher level before like slavery and all that stuff like that. And that's how come I'm so like passionate about this now, because ultimately what I'm saying is in the next 20, 15 years from now, I want to be like building societies and not really civilizations, but you get what I mean. I want to be building for our people
communities
and stuff like that. Exactly. Yeah. So like me and Dre ended up getting on the same page. It was like it was perfect because he always motivated me to. He always motivated me.
As a cat.
Yeah, that's what you just heard. But he was a big push for me into the right direction. Like, you feel me? He held me accountable, and not only accountable, but we had those conversations. It's just good to have somebody else who's like-minded. You feel me? It pushes you, and you reach those greater heights with that, and sort of helped me more define my purpose in life.
I think that more so where I came from, or like why I was like that, is just like hanging around people that is living. Just living to live.
Just living. Yeah, they don't really have like a
No,
like what you want to do.
Yeah, there's no path. It's just I wake up every day, I smoke.
That was another thing too. Like I was like a huge pothead too.
Bro,
That ended in what?
I smoke like 3 times a day. So like it's funny like when people like obviously now if you just meet me now and then you be like, oh, you don't smoke? I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
But you don't know like I used to
really
slow
slow down.
Like I used to like that was my thing.
That's
Crazy.
insane. So yeah, I used to be a big smoker. That stopped like towards the end of high school though. Nah, chat. That stopped recently.
I stopped.
It was crazy heavy from it was crazy heavy from like 2015 to 2018, 19, 2019. No, 18.
When
That's
do
when it
we
was heavy.
When do we throw that event?
Which event? That was around my birthday in. Was it my 21st birthday?
Nah, it wasn't.
Why do you know that? It was probably my 23rd. I think it was my 23rd birthday.
I don't remember.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it was. I think that was 2018 though.
Had to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Then it's lit. But yeah, so he really helped me trying to get my thoughts together here. But he really helped me like align myself with my purpose. In that regard, like when it comes to fitness and just mental health, all that stuff in general, like learning to live within your own truth and not really worry about what other people got to say or the way you think they might be thinking about you.
In actual reality, nobody is actually even thinking about what you're doing. I mean, there are people that are, but like majority of the people are too
Caught up within their
caught up with their own thoughts. Like
that's true. That's true. So I guess to sort of push my story a little bit further now, like past college, things worked out. So I ended up getting a position as a analyst intern. Graduate college, COVID happened. It's so much like
forgot about COVID.
Bro. But that was a thing. So I'm trying to just push forward because trying to just highlight the big events, the big things like accomplishments or whatever. Graduated. I didn't even have a proper like graduation, but that's like whatever. I wasn't big on graduation, but for the family, for me, it's still something to do. But fast forward now, I got a job. It was sketchy at first because I was like, yo, what am I gonna do? But he actually put me on. We had this proper gig, doing inventory for a container store. Shout out to the container store homies. But that was like perfect after I graduated because you had a lot of free time, which is where we developed a lot of ideas. Like we was always in the back of the truck just talking, bro. Talking. Like we literally just be talking. And that's when we realized 5 a.m. type John. Early, bro. So I mean that's what happens too when you're working with like one of your best friend. You could talk. Just vibe. And that's when we realized like we should start a podcast because just to the way our lives are going in general and people will want to hear it.
Especially
not even that.
Don't know where to go.
Exactly. It's just people can relate. So that was that after graduation or after I graduated, and while working there we actually were like on the brink of getting let go. So it's crazy how this happened though. It was like perfect timing because it was within the last 2 weeks before. I'm not even gonna get mad at the cat, but it was within the last 2 weeks before we got let go. And
that's it.
Crazy. I know. And yeah, I got a call from one of my family members, basically telling me that they knew somebody who job was hiring. I'm like, that's perfect. You feel me? Long story short, they set it up. I got the job, so now I'm an intern analyst, and I don't want to give too much information about it. But you feel me? And now I'm getting more money than I ever got before at any job. Like literally, what I make now is like what I made in 2 weeks at Container Store, I make it in like a week, or like a few days, yeah, type shit. Not to brag about that, but it's just to sort of.
You'll never know. Like you could be in one position one day, and the next.
Yeah, I'm just trying to put emphasis on the level up. You feel me? Just emphasis on the places that you can get to, and how like works in general. It was just crazy for me, because I mean, obviously we have other people who live these lives, and it's like they reach certain points. Everybody's journey is different, is what I'm trying to say. So you feel me? It's a lot of other people who at certain levels now, and it's like, well, before you were, and it's just like, that was also a thing we had to go through too, is like seeing other people and then realizing that your path is your own, so you can't even look at other people and like identify yourself through them. Yeah. So that was like a big thing I struggled with too. But you know, as I said, we overcame that and we here. So now it's like I'm in, I guess, what am I trying to say? Like I'm in that next chapter, or we're in the beginning of the next chapter, and it's lit because now I'm super excited for the type of the men that we've become, because the way we think is completely different now, bro. Like I love thinking about how just the way I view myself now compared to the way I viewed myself, or thinking about the way that I used to act a few years before, even 2 years before, bro. It's like me now compared to me last year is like a completely different person. And not that I want to brag about it, but it's just you want to share it. You want to be able to show your growth. You want to be able to grow, you know, for you, and you know, be able to impact other lives the same way, which sort of foreshadows what we have planning too. So what I have planned and what he had planned is sort of living within our own truth, within our own purpose, because it's only up from here. It's only up from here. I don't want to keep rambling, but yeah, I just love the people that we've become, and the journey has really like molded us, bro. So yeah, that was really like long-winded, and I know I left out a lot, but
you get the gist of it.
You get the gist of it. Came from the hood, and now we up, and we trying to help other people.
You still gotta get out of here, but I mean,
when I say help other people though, it's not like we still worry about us, but
I feel like
show other people the light, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like we're I don't know any like big brother
sort of
structures or organizations or whatever. So I feel like that's like the next steps
for us,
where we can like, cause it's just, if you go on social media, not even social media, but if you like just look at the generation behind, is it behind or
behind us? Yeah.
The younger crowd.
The younger generation.
That's like what 18.
That would be in
21.
front of us, but whatever.
Right. Yeah. So you look at them and just how they interact. So I feel like our generation was perfect because we experienced life before social media and life after social media. I mean, life before, during, and like what it is now. So
what's life after social media?
That's the end of the world, essentially.
Type shit.
But yeah, like, if you ever interact with one of them people, like, where they literally grew up in social media era,
it's crazy, bro.
Scary.
The way it's crazy. Because I feel like I had one family member I was really close with,
Yeah.
and the way they view the world, their perception, it's like you're constantly thinking about the way other people view you.
Yeah.
And you don't even realize it. Like
100%.
it could be down to the little, like the smallest things, like just not wanting to take a bus, or like just wanting to live a life a certain way, and it's like, yo, that's not how life works, bro.
Like how you just said, like everybody's journey is different. So when you see somebody on Instagram flexing a Benz truck at 1920 and you're 1920
in school,
like
don't even got a job, it hits different, and you feel like yo, I'm nobody.
But that's not the case. It's just we don't know what, because social media, you can literally perceive anything you want.
Yeah.
I could be like, yo, I'm a millionaire tomorrow on social media.
You could even exactly.
Like, for real, like,
and you just would never know.
But I say that to say this, like, yo, we need to get back more in touch, and also like the newer generation. You realize how desensitized they are, as far as like when it comes to violence. I forgot who I was talking to about this the other day. But like, bro, like, you can literally go on Twitter, see pornography, see somebody's like last moments of their life, like death, like somebody get murdered and stuff. Everybody's opinion is all over the place, politics and all that stuff, like the vax versus anti-vax.
You can see all of that within one scroll. Imagine what that's doing to your head. Like,
bro.
You don't even know how
without personalizing that. Like,
exactly.
I feel like our generation learned how to not personalize it. Well, some learned how to not personalize these things, but like next gen, nah. I feel
and
like
that's how they become super desensitized. It's like
super desensitized.
Now you don't know how to operate through life, take certain things seriously, and what not to take seriously, because you see everything, you receive and everything. So it's all these different energies you soaking up through something that's
like I don't even know if people know, because I mean I learned this in school, where you don't just Google something, you cite multiple sources in order to, alright, this may be factual, because people would just see one thing and be like, yeah, that's what it is.
That's facts.
Now I'm gonna Google this, and then I'm gonna go on like 10 different websites. So y'all all saying the same thing, alright, it may most likely be true. But nah, if you go on Twitter, hey yo, it's gonna rain today.
Oh, it's raining today. You hear everybody else like, yo, it's about to rain.
And then it don't rain. And then
that's why I try to make sure, like, whenever I post something or repost something on IG, sometimes I'll slip up or I'll like put a disclaimer like, oh, I didn't really research it, but it's interesting. But I make sure I at least Google it or do some sort of research before you post it.
Yeah, bro.
Because I don't like giving false information, and I love to give information.
It's very detrimental too. Like, imagine. You know them posts sometimes where they be like, yo, it's state troopers on the parkway tip, like
yeah. So or like you get a letter or something like that.
Like you just mad cautious that whole day.
Like, for no reason, bro. That's all on social media. You walking on eggshells, like, like yo, chill out.
Like the influence and power that social media has is kind of crazy, but it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a gift and a curse.
You gotta use it wisely. You gotta just be aware, conscious.
Learn how to be with yourself too, though. That's another thing. Yeah, technically you are by yourself when you scrolling on your phone, but you're taking in all this, even this small energy. You're taking in all these extra energies from other people.
You're not really by yourself.
Nah. So yeah, I feel like man.
But we kind of digressed a little bit, but the purpose of this video in general was really to just be more introductory and just give y'all some like background on us and where we plan to go, where we plan to take the podcast. Even if I'm pretty sure we were kind of clear with that. In the beginning, like where we want to take the podcast.
Lifestyle stuff.
So I don't want us to drag on too long because we're actually getting into topics that we want to talk about in the future too.
Yeah.
More in depth, obviously, but yeah, it's so much more to come, and I'm so excited because I want to keep talking, but
Nah, we gotta.
not. But yo, we've been talking for like
3 hours.
going on 3 hours.
Camera cut off like twice.
So we probably gonna do a lot of chopping in this too, for real. Maybe not.
Yeah.
But
because in
we'll
general,
see.
I don't want to chop at all.
Yeah,
like,
you want it to be raw and uncut.
Yeah,
But
I don't know if y'all gonna sit through 2 hours.
exactly, that's
If
what I'm
you
saying.
do, hey man, sometimes
That's
I'll be
tough.
plugged in.
Cause I be plugged in.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to know, like, especially if you interested in the person, you want to know just what they talking about is interesting. I've listened to 2-hour podcasts, maybe not all in one sitting, but
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I let it rock on
Yeah.
in the crib or something.
yeah.
But
So
yeah, that's pretty
yeah.
much it for real.
just follow our journey. We're gonna be on here learning, growing, and sharing, and
Probably have some people come through, share their opinion and everything. Kind of just want this to be like an open space, and then eventually we get to that point where we can be that big brother to certain people, or just that mentor. We don't have to be big brother, just mentor to certain people that need it. Because I mean, right now, like I don't even say right now. Like in the past 6 months, including till right now, like I have people hit me up all the time, like just asking me for like advice on where they should be going in life, and it's like back then I didn't really know how to answer that, but now it's just more so I can't.
somewhat of a blueprint.
Yeah.
Like you.
Ultimately, I can't tell you what you should be doing. You should know. You have to figure it out for your own.
Yeah.
But I can guide you in the right direction.
Yeah.
More so now.
Exactly, because of the experience that
Because of the
you
experience.
I haven't gotten as many requests for advice, but I know I have a lot to share because of the growth that's happened. But yeah, so that's where we plan. That's where we plan to take it.
We try. Well, not try. We're gonna do drops every Sunday, along with podcasts. I said podcast. Wow.
Playlist.
I'm sorry. Playlist. Do a playlist. Cause we was
Sunday
doing.
too? Will we drop them same time? Playlist.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be available.
Right.
When the podcast drop, it'll be available on Apple Music. Pretty much the same thing when we was doing Color Radio, Color Buzz Radio. What was that? Was that last summer? I think that was last summer.
I feel like it was last summer.
Yeah, I didn't feel like that long, but yeah, last summer we was doing like 21 weeks. But now we'll just
Sounds reasonable.
we'll do like 10 songs every week, just to see what our vibe is on for that week or whatever. But we're trying to keep this weekly. Not try.
No, it will be weekly.
It will be a consistency.
You will expect a video every Sunday.
It's not going to be 2 hours long either.
Yeah,
But
we aiming for like
25, 30 minutes.
Max.
Yeah.
max.
So y'all can actually watch it
Absorb
and
it.
absorb
It
everything.
could be like on a ride to work type.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Ground zero.
down zero. We ain't figured out how to end these yet, so it's probably just gonna chop.
Yeah.
We'll just cut.
Word.
But yeah, this was fun.
If you made it this far, appreciate you.
Facts.
Um,
Facts.
yeah, that's it.